Hey everyone, it's been 2 months since I did my last video, which was titled 3 months out, because it was 3 months at that point since my surgery for weight loss. I had vertical sleeve gastrectomy done back on May 9th of this year, 2014. I'm now at 5 months out, and my current weight is 280 pounds, which means that I've lost 85 pounds since the surgery and 120 pounds since November of last year when I started dieting for this entire process, which is pretty freaking awesome. That being said, it's an impressive number. I don't feel it. You think that when you're in your head, you have this idea that when you reach 100 pounds lost, that you're going to feel somehow different or feel better for it. And while I do feel a lot better, it still doesn't seem like it. I guess it's because it's just been the process all the way through of slowly losing it versus kind of dropping it all at once, even though the weight loss has been accelerated. Um, Skin, I've kind of found, is getting better. It's not quite as sagging. It's starting to rebound a little bit more. I've also been lifting weights because my health has improved so much. So I think that kind of helped it with all the exercise I've been doing and weightlifting. Um, which is still kind of interesting to me because it's like I haven't been able to do that for months. I mean, not months, but years. I was stopped working out, I think around 2007, late 2007 is when my fibromyalgia and my other health problems kicked up really bad. And it got to where I could barely move. I was reduced down to a shuffle. I couldn't lift weights anymore, work out the gym, none of that stuff. That all went away. So now it's all come back. And it's kind of come back a little too fast. It's kind of weird when you're not able to do something for so long, you kind of crave like wanting to do it again. Like it's the weirdest things. Like for me, it was working out. I wanted to be that. I wanted to be fit and active again, and not be winded just from getting up and walking somewhere. Like less than a tenth of a mile, I'd get winded, and now it's not a problem. I was even running actually not too long ago, thanks to the treadmill on loan from my friend Will, who I need to probably just buy it off him because he's been so generous with it, and I need to make sure I keep exercising long term. So, um, yeah, I can run again. It's pretty wild to me. No more cane. I still have the joint problems, so I have to be careful. And when it rains, I can still feel it, but I'm able to run. So that's pretty cool. On top of the lifting the weights, I still have to be careful with it. And one thing about the surgery is that you have to be careful not to do too much too fast. I actually was diagnosed with fatigue by my doctor, basically exhaustion. And because I've been feeling so much better, I was working out nonstop. You get kind of addicted to that. You don't want to stop because you're going to do it again. So I was working out every single day just about, which is definitely not good. You want to, of course, alternate your days off. I was doing walking or running, and then the next day I would do my weightlifting, and then I would take a day off if I remembered. Because of my terrible memory and the weird shifts I work, days kind of bleed into each other because I work over past midnight into the early morning. I've been working up more hours too because I've been feeling better. On average, about 48 hours a week. So on top of the hours worked, on top of the constant exercising and mobility and just getting out and doing things again, I ran myself into the ground. You have to be really careful about that. I was actually working against myself. I was starting to, basically my body was starting to eat itself, which is one of the problems you have. You have to keep your protein intake up. And if you don't, your muscles will start wasting weight. Your body will start eating that up, part of the weight loss. And my body started to do that. So I was ordered by the doctors to take a week off, no exercise. That was ridiculously hard. The old me would have been like, no week exercise, no problem. I'll continue not doing anything, sitting on my ass playing video games, watching TV, different shows I've recorded, or playing around my computer. Now it's ridiculously hard for me not to exercise or to take it a lot easier. I have to be conscious to not overdo things. So that's come and gone. I've been having other health problems as well that I'm not going to go into here, but they're not really health related except for that first one. Some other minor old problems have been cropping up, but I'm dealing with them when I can. And overall, I still feel a hell of a lot better than I was last year. Last year, I was 400 pounds, 400 and a half pounds technically, and about to die. quite literally. I mean, my doctors had told me that if you don't get this operation, you are going to be dead in less than a year. Your heart's just going to give out. Your liver is about to go. Your kidneys are on the way too. You have to get this done or you will die. And I really felt dead. I mean, I absolutely did. And now I just feel so much better. It's absolutely ridiculous how much better I feel. And I didn't expect that. I expected to kind of, for me, when I had the weight loss surgery, I expected to lose weight, of course. Everyone expects that's why you have it, duh. But I didn't expect to feel better. I didn't expect to have most of my health problems go into remission, to be able to walk again, to have my heart problems go way down, to have my liver and kidney functions return. So that was a win for me. That was unexpected. I was expecting to still feel like crap all the way through, but just be skinnier. So I take it as a win. Also, to put my weight loss in perspective, this is my mallet. I wear it constantly. It's always a reminder to keep myself grounded, what I'm doing, and where I'm at. You can see how I have room in here. This last year was tight. I could barely get it on my hand, and my wrist and forearm went right down to it, filled it completely up. And as you can see, it's got a lot of room. If I move my arm too fast, it will literally go flying off my wrist. So I got to look at either getting a smaller one or possibly readjusting this down, taking a couple beads out, the appropriate amount, and restringing it back up. So that's a good indication of how much weight loss I've done as well. My pants were size 48, and those were tight. And today I fit down into a pair of 42 inches. Pants. I actually had to go out and buy pants because I have a job interview tomorrow for a new position in my job. And earlier in this month, so actually late last month, I had some training I had to go to with the other people I work with, and we had to dress up for business casual. So I pulled my clothes out of the closet, my dress clothes, and it was like wearing sheets. It was just way too ridiculously big. It looked comical. So I had to go out and buy myself a new shirt. A couple new shirts there so I look a little nicer, can dress up more, and a pair of pants. And I bought these pants 2 weeks before my meeting with the training. And when I showed up, put them on for the day of the training, they were ridiculously oversized. I didn't realize how much weight I was losing around there because my weight loss has been stalling, but apparently my body's still shrinking in even during these times when I'm still stalled out. So I showed up, I had these humongously baggy pants. It felt really ridiculous. So I have my interview tomorrow, and so I had to go out today and buy new pants, and it's so awesome to be able to go to a store and buy clothes off the rack again. It's just mind-blowing because I used to have to go to places like different stores or Big and Tall, which is basically a nice way of saying fat, the fat section. You go to Big and Tall section and look for things there. They're just like 3-4 extra large shirts, that size, or pants, or if you see them 50 inches or larger. And that used to be me. Now I can go and just easily buy clothes off the shelf. It's an awesome feeling to be able to do that. It's also a pain in the ass too, because I realized I've been trying to save money up and do the different things I want to do, and suddenly have to keep buying new clothes constantly. I've heard to go to thrift shops and things like that, but for me, it's just rewarding. I don't mind spending the extra money just to have that experience back, just that mental, I'm getting there. I'm almost there. I'm to the point where I can buy clothes off the shelf now. This is like a reaffirmation for me. It's my little victory that I get to do, is go into stores and buy things without having to worry if it's going to fit or not, because I know it's going to now. So that's been a pretty rewarding thing for me. Speaking of weight loss, it's kind of funny how I start to notice it, because when you're going through the process yourself, you don't really notice things a lot because you look at yourself in the mirror every day and you see things going slower. They don't really change a lot for you. It's always other people and different things, they'll notice more of a change than you will. The only place I really kind of have to gauge for my weight loss is my feet, as bizarre as that sounds. My feet used to be just absolutely swollen and super fat. I mean, I had pure cankles right down from the leg straight down. With my heart problems as well, my feet were so swollen and quite painful. And as I've noticed that I've been losing weight, now I can see tendons, I can see bones in my feet, It's just that's the easiest way for me to gauge my weight loss is actually I can look at my feet and see my feet slowly shrinking in and changing. It's kind of neat that way. Skin has gotten a lot better, as I mentioned there a little bit earlier. I know it's coming a little bit more on the stomach. I'm getting some kind of weird skin wrinkles there from the kind of compressing in. Easiest way to kind of describe that as a woman after they've given a child, after they've had a child. If the skin stretches, sometimes it kind of comes back in and kind of wrinkles up a little bit before it kind of smooths back out. Some women it doesn't, unfortunately. But my stomach is starting to do the same thing. I've noticed. I'm starting to get those creases in there. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm still losing more weight. Eating is still an issue for me. I've been having some bad lapses where I've been eating too fast, and I've noticed that I've been eating more food. Now, this doesn't mean necessarily it's a bad thing, because as your stomach heals from this and as you get used to it, you will start to eat more food. Right after I had the surgery, when I got back to normal foods around 6.5 weeks, which is really unheard of, it's ridiculously fast, I could only eat about maybe 2.5 ounces of food at a time. And I think nowadays I'm up to around 4 ounces of food at a time that I'm able to eat per meal. And for me, that just seems like a lot. And you still have this in your brain, like, am I going to out-eat myself? Because you had 90% of your stomach removed for the vertical sleeve gastrectomy. But your stomach can still expand out. And you have to be careful not to eat too fast, because you can cause it to expand out more and kind of wear out your ability to keep that nice and tight and still keep going to weight loss. So that's kind of a fear of mine as well. So I haven't been paying attention to eating, and sometimes you just get really hungry. Like you just want to go and start wolfing something down really fast, and you have to remind yourself, slow down. I'll take a couple bites of something, realize I'm eating too fast, take the food, put it in the kitchen or somewhere else there, somewhere out of sight, because I've discovered that with my way of eating, if I can see something there, I will pretty much eat it. And that's the way I used to be, and that still hasn't gone away, and I don't expect it ever to. So I'll take the food, put it somewhere out of mind, and I'll wait about 10 minutes. And then I'll see how I feel. If I'm still hungry, I'll go and continue eating a little bit more and do it a lot more slower. But it's just that first part there, it still gets to my brain. I need to, show everything I can, like eat it like crazy. Because I used to be, I guess it's kind of like growing up. We're a bunch of speed eaters in our family. And it's a lifelong habit of just how you eat. You just have to slowly correct and work on trying to fix one day at a time, which is all I can really do. But slowing down while eating has been my biggest focus lately, because if I notice that if I don't, I will eat a pretty decent amount of food that frightens me. Because it's like, if I can do this, if I can shove that amount of food in there that I'm not paying attention to, am I going to gain weight again? And that's the biggest logical fear that you have with weight loss, is because some people that does happen. I've seen people who've gone to different support groups for weight loss, which I'll never go to another one again. Not because I don't find them effective or anything like that. I think it's a lot of good information, but personally for me, because of my crappy immune system, I've gotten the flu both times I've gone to the required meetings, so I'm not going back to them because I don't need to get sick for another week and lose another week of work with the flu. So goodbye to that. But I've seen people there, get back on topic, who've had weight loss surgery, and they're back up to like 400, 500 pounds. And it's because they did dumb stuff like that, just going through and stuffing their face and not conforming to the diet for what you need to do, what you need to restrict on your eating in order to keep the weight going down to get to where your goal is and to maintain that weight, which is the biggest thing. And that's a problem with the surgery that I had, is that you're not really restricted on food. So you can still eat whatever you want. Whatever your body can handle. I found that there's some things I just can't do anymore. They just don't taste good to me, so I don't eat them. But you're still not limited by that anymore. You can still eat whatever you want with this. If you had a classic Roux-en-Y surgery, for where they basically reroute your intestines up, give you a small, tiny little pouch at the top of your stomach, that can sometimes cause dumping syndrome, which still happens with my surgery that I've had. But it's more common with that. So people who've had the Roux-en-Y, they tend to get dumping syndrome, so they can't eat sweets or anything like that. I still enjoy sweets. I still enjoy bad things. In fact, you're going to love this. I have a little bottle of red cream soda here. I haven't had this in probably about a month, and I've had to shake it all up and get all the carbonation out front there, and I'm only, drinking down. This is probably about a good day's worth that I've kind of drank down. It's just empty calories for me, but I still love this stuff. It's not Big Red, but it will do. So I still have my vices that I still have to kick, but normally for me, it's water most of the day long is what I drink. And you have to be careful because that's just 280 calories right there in a bottle of things that I don't need going against my weight loss. With the weight loss, I do still have major stalls happen. I was expecting to be hopefully around 270 or 260 at this point, but 5 months out from the surgery, because I've heard about other people dropping much faster, but then you realize that everyone's completely different. Everyone drops their weight completely differently. Some people do it ridiculously fast. Like my dad, he had this weight loss surgery. He was down, no problem. I mean, he was dropping weight like crazy. When he came back out of the hospital from when he had his operation, I think like 2 weeks out, he had already lost 40 pounds. Whereas for me, it took about 30 pounds in a month, the first one, then I hit my major stall. So I was expecting to be down even less, but I'm still getting there. I'll figured out that I usually will stall for about a week, 7 to 10 days for my weight, and then I'll start dropping 1 to 2 pounds, sometimes 3 pounds, and then it will stall again for another 7 to 10 days, and that seems to be the pattern recently. So on top of that here, with some crummy food choices I haven't been doing too well, it's kind of a little outside stress doesn't help too. And also I've been fighting head hunger. Head hunger, if you don't know what it is, it's basically when your brain tells you to eat food and you're not hungry. I've been having that constant. I mean, that was my problem to begin with, why I got up that weight so high, is because not only did I like food, and I still do, but it's like you have the voice in your head saying, eat something, eat something, eat something. And your stomach's not saying you're hungry, so it's just purely, absolutely mental. A lot of times I can go through ignore it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you have weird cravings. Like the other day I wanted to make sausage and biscuits. Love that stuff. Used to make it all the time. I could only probably eat a spoon of that and be done and probably be on the floor moaning and half dead for about a couple hours. It's just like pure culinary cement, but it's delicious. So, you still have these cravings there to happen in your head. The head hunger, it has come back in full. It went away when I had my surgery, kind of. The first couple of weeks when I was recovering, as I mentioned earlier in my other video, I was sitting there watching cooking shows and kind of drooling about the different things I wanted to eat, and that's just my head hunger going, but my stomach wasn't hungry at all, so I wasn't really physically hungry. And that went away for a long time, but now it's come back. So I'll be sitting there, I'll get like cravings for like pizza and all sorts of crazy stuff here that I really shouldn't be eating. By the way, thin crust, I thought that was the dumbest thing ever pre-surgery, because I would get a Papa John's pizza or a Pizza Hut, but usually Papa John's. I know full product placements this time here with the Bark soda and now Papa John's and Pizza Hut, but I would buy a pizza and eat the entire thing in less than an hour, a large pizza. And I used to think thin crust was the dumbest thing ever, because I'm thinking like, why the hell, why would you want a thin crust? You're just not filling up on it. It's just dumb. You get this weight loss surgery, and you're like, thin crust is the best thing ever because it's nice and thin. It doesn't take up so much room in your stomach. You get more meat toppings in there because I always have to have the protein intake. So I'm like, yes. So thin crust for me all the way. It's still, I'll have like a slice, and that's still my meal right there. In fact, I think I had a free pizza that I had from Pizza Hut, so I got a thin crust, and about the other half I've been eating like for 2 weeks, and the other half is frozen in my freezer as kind of emergency backup food for if I ever get low on supplies or whatever, or if I'm busy working, don't have time to make something before I start work. Just defrost it or throw it in the microwave and do it that way. But it's kind of, head hunger is the biggest issue, because you sit here and you do want to do things that you shouldn't be eating, and you shouldn't, but you want to do it anyway. So that's my current battle on this as well. That's pretty much it for me. I have my second job interview, as I mentioned, tomorrow, so hopefully when I do my 6-month anniversary for my surgery video next month, I'll be having good jobs letting you know that I'm all still employed. The positions within my company, fortunately, so I have to go apply brand new somewhere else. So it's people I know, and they know my work ethic, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be having good news I'll be putting that up on my Facebook regardless. But I should be doing another video next month for the 6 months anniversary. So once again, I'm currently at 280 pounds, which is 85 pounds lost since the surgery back in May, and 120 pounds overall. And one thing I completely forgot about. I get cold now, and it's really weird to me because usually when I get sick, that's how I know, because I get cold when I feel cold when I'm sick. That's how it's been the indicator. I know like something's going up there. If I've caught a bug, cold, or flu, or something's going on in my body, I start feeling cold. Now I don't really have that indicator anymore because now I get cold, period. I've lost 120 pounds of good old insulation inside me. So I've actually had to dig out some sweatshirts I have, some hoodies, and I keep those around now and throw them on, which I find absolutely amusing because I like cold weather. I still enjoy it, but sometimes I'm sitting here thinking, it's a little too cold for my liking, but that's kind of a new thing for me that I'm kind of enjoying and laughing about. So I'll see you guys in a month, and I'm going to turn back on my computer screen. I've had it off because of the glare from the glasses. You can probably see here now, but I'll see you guys in a month. Thanks for watching.